Welcome to the Breath of Fresh Air Dental Podcast. Whether you're a seasoned practice owner, a new dentist, or an office manager looking to enhance your skills, this podcast is for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable hosts are here to answer your burning questions, address common pain points, and provide practical solutions to help you overcome any obstacles you may face. Our hosts, Amanda DeMoura and Sarah Hamlin, bring to the table lengthy careers in both clinical dentistry and practice administration. They now preside as the CEO and COO of Essential Dental Services.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Breath of Fresh Air podcast. I'm Amanda DeMoura.
And I'm Sarah Hamlin.
And this weekend is a long weekend for me. Do you guys have Monday off? Or the kids?
No. I was
it's kind of like a New England thing, I think. So it's
what
like
is
Patriots.
Monday? Oh.
It's Patriots Day. So yeah, I mean, like, dental offices are closed. It's also the week here in Massachusetts, like leading into school vacation for kids. So, but it's big. And Monday is the Boston Marathon. So we call it Marathon Monday around here. But yeah, it's a big thing. Daycare is closed.
Interesting. Well, I was shocked at the number of offices and people that I knew that were closed for the eclipse. I couldn't believe how many people just decided to close the whole day for it.
Oh, that is interesting. Because they had to, or because they were like because I know that some places were closed because like it was dangerous to go outside.
I don't know. I mean, but it was literally dangerous to go outside for like 30 seconds? Like it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I didn't understand it. I think the eclipse is super cool. Like here in Washington, we were way outside the path of it. So there was no seeing it or being impacted by it. So maybe that's why I just didn't get it. But like, I don't know. The number, like tons of our clients were closed. I got like some auto emails back from people on that day that were like, oh, we're closed for the eclipse. I'm just like, what? I don't know. I guess it was a thing.
I had heard about that, like the weeks leading up that people were planning on being closed, but like I literally thought that was because it was dangerous, not because they were like trying to have an eclipse party or something.
I don't know, either that or they just thought that like staff was going to be calling out because they wanted to see the eclipse or something. I really don't know, but whatever. I'm all for a good day off. So whatever the excuse is,
right. Whether it's Eclipse Day, Marathon Monday, whatever it may be.
Yep.
So
right. No, not a long weekend for us here. Business as usual over here in the Pacific Northwest.
I have heard this a lot during my life. They're like, what is Monday? Why are you guys off that day? Very big here in the Massachusetts. All right. Well, today we're talking about how to celebrate your team without losing your mind. This celebrating your team for various things is obviously kind of something that falls on the practice manager a lot. And Sarah and I have talked about this a lot over the length of our friendship. And celebrating your team, I feel like especially like larger teams, it can get very daunting. And then what happens is people just stop doing it. And that's not always great. So,
yeah. Well, and I think the other thing that happens a lot with this too is the person who is in charge of making sure everybody else gets celebrated doesn't get celebrated themselves. And then when you feel like it's a thankless thing, it gets really hard to not be resentful about it and to not want to just let everybody else go, like fall through the cracks too. So it's kind of a catch-22 all around, really.
So the very first thing I kind of want to mention that I did in the past and, continue to do is I've talked about before how I have a paper planner that I love so much, but I also, I use digital calendars too. So it's both places. But what I do every year with that paper calendar is I lay out the events that I, want to celebrate. So I believe this week is National Dental Hygiene Appreciation Week. So what I would do is the month prior, I write it on the month prior that it's coming up for the next month. That way I have enough time to plan what I want to plan Am I going to get some dental hygiene Etsy tumblers? Am I going to
some dental hygiene name tags made out of acrylic with some cute lettering on them?
Yes. Am I, what am I going to do? And then I also put it the week prior and the week of, and, pick which day we actually want to celebrate. So I feel like things always sneak up on you last minute. So this is a way for that to not happen. And within the same thing, so staff birthdays, I would give myself a week notice on my planner. Every other thing that you want to celebrate, just make sure that you are giving yourself ample time to get ready and order what you want to order. And that way it doesn't feel so rushed at the last minute.
Also, let's say even like one step back from this is have this discussion with your doctor. Like, what's in the budget? Well, are you guys budgeting to celebrate every single person's birthday and all of these appreciation weeks and work anniversaries and Christmas? And like that's a big chunk of change and a big chunk of your time and energy. So have this discussion, be very upfront with your doctor and say, what's our budget for staff celebrations? And then, maybe let the budget be your guide for what you can actually celebrate as far as getting gifts or doing lunch or whatever it is. You can certainly acknowledge somebody's birthday just by saying happy birthday, putting it in the schedule and getting them a card. It doesn't have to be a lot of money, but, let the budget or your discussion with the doctor kind of guide you in that regard for what is important to them to celebrate for the staff too.
Right. And there is certainly a lot of things, in different things that can be in that budget too. So I've talked about before how I'm still with my practice that I've been at since I was a teenager. And we started to do like different things. I unfortunately wasn't at the office on Eclipse Day, but we did like eclipse themed food, like moon pies and sun chips, and like just trying to celebrate some different stuff. We also did Pie Day. So, what is the budget for the year, and pick the ones you want to celebrate. Like, do you want to always do birthdays, or do you want to do some more fun holidays throughout the year that the staff might enjoy a little bit better than like the monotonous, like, here's a sheet cake from the grocery store across the street. that can get a little old. So choosing those ahead of time, setting a budget, very smart. Also, honestly, with birthdays, make sure you're doing the same thing for every single person. Like and not forgetting anybody. People's feelings get hurt. So if you are choosing to celebrate birthdays and it's like a $15 gift card to Starbucks and a card or cupcakes or whatever, just, kind of stick to something there and make sure no one's getting left out.
Yeah, and make sure that you have a way to stay on top of it as you add new staff members too, because those are always the people that seem to fall through the cracks, is the people who are new, and those are the people you don't want to forget about. You want them to feel welcome and all of that, but they are the ones that will slip through if you're not careful.
I've had a lot of staff members, sadly, over the years, be so thankful that we celebrated their birthday because, maybe no one else in their life really was. Like I said, unfortunately and sadly, that has happened. So I don't know. I like the idea. All right. Next, delegating tasks. If this is daunting to you, I never did this. I always celebrated and planned for all holidays myself, which, as you can tell, I've gotten a little bitter about. But I've seen other offices delegate this a little bit. So, having every staff member be responsible for one other person's birthday throughout the year or something to that tune can make things a little easier for you, the practice manager or the doctor or whomever is in charge of usually doing these things. Or I guess like we did actually have some things where like, maybe all the assistants got together and they decided what we were going to do for dental hygiene week. And every person kind of contributed one different thing, big or small. And anything was helpful. Like anytime anyone was like, I'll get the plates, I was like, thank you, because that is
Yep.
one less thing for me.
Yep. We did that too in one of the offices that I was in. It was like I had a list of everybody's birthdays on the fridge in the break room with the dates, and whoever's birthday was prior, like the date that was prior to the next person's birthday, is the one that was in charge of organizing the potluck and getting the card ready for that person's birthday. So then it's like I had to make the list of the birthday up there, but then after that it kind of just like ran itself. And that is helpful, having something like that, some set expectations in place for how people can help you, will help you, who's in charge of what. That can be really helpful for getting something off of your plate.
I also feel like I've talked before about how I've been very poor at delegation throughout my life, which led to bitterness. But anytime I did ask for help, someone always helped me. I mean, they were happy to do it. As long as you're not piling so much on one person, I think if you spread that out a little bit, most reasonable people are willing to help and pitch in and be a contributing member of the team. So,
yep, I agree. I think kind of related to this too is being clear about when you need help, but also being clear about what you guys are going to do for these celebrations. So this is like tied into, talking with your doctor about which celebrations you want to do. But, like in my case, for birthdays in that office, that wasn't really related to the doctor. There wasn't really any expense to the doctor. We decided to celebrate with a potluck among staff. So staff all brought stuff and contributed stuff, and the doctor signed a card, and, that was it from the doctor's contribution. So there's ways to celebrate without the doctor having to spend money, but having clear expectations among the staff about those kinds of things is important too. Also, making sure that you're being mindful and thoughtful that everybody celebrates things in different ways, right? Like some people don't like to be the center of attention. Some people would like their birthday to go by without anybody acknowledging them. Some people don't want a cake. Some people do want a cake. Like that, for me, was the hardest and most exhausting part, is trying to find something that works for everyone and making it feel fair to everyone, but keeping everyone's personal preferences in mind as well. That's almost impossible.
But that can lead into one of our other points, which is having your staff fill out forms, little surveys, some of the questions on there are, what makes them feel the most supported, celebrated, appreciated? What would they like for their birthday? Things like that. And then you can kind of, go from there on who would like what. Another huge thing at my practice is there's like 21 or 22 of us. And like, I always feel like everybody's on a diet. So you're getting these cakes and no one's eating them.
Yes.
This is where, so we stopped doing cakes. I mean, like, no more cakes. It was the poor doctor who was like, I'm eating this whole cake myself.
Right, or taking it home to the kids and stuff. That's what we always do. Like the donuts and the cake always got taken home to the kids.
Yes. So figure out what they really want. I mean, if it were me, $15 Starbucks gift card all day.
Yep. I could totally see it. Well, and you know what though? I think those sheets are really important too, because like you said, if you gave me a $15 Starbucks gift card, like I'd be grateful for it, but I would way rather have a handwritten card with a note in it, honestly, than any money. So I think, you got to figure out how people want to feel, like what makes them feel appreciated, what they want to hear, because you got to kind of cater things a little bit. And that's why having some organization and structure to these things is important for you, because it is a daunting task to keep track of what everybody wants and making sure that everybody feels, personally celebrated. So put these things in place so that it takes a little weight off of your shoulders and figuring all of this out.
What is their love language? Is it words of affirmation?
Yes.
On that note, I tried to make it a point to do handwritten cards and let people know how much I appreciated them, pick out some of their best qualities and include them in that note for birthdays and different things. And I can't tell you the amount of positive feedback that has gotten over the years. Also, every single holiday, we would have like our holiday party, the doctors would write handwritten cards to every staff member, and each doctor would write their own little blurb. Every single person on the team looked forward to those so much. They're like, this is our favorite day of the year. I can't wait to see what they wrote in there. Like, and, you know, I've been at that office. I've talked about it a lot, almost 2 decades now. I think I have every single card that they've ever written me because they mean so much. And I think people underestimate words, the power of words. And I have had several employees say that they would prefer a handwritten card over anything else. So,
Yep. And I think don't underestimate the power of a handwritten card, or, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a card. Like, just write them something nice on a sticky note and leave it on their, you know, computer, so that when they come in the next morning to work, there's some nice thing that says, I appreciate you and the energy you bring to this office. Like, thanks for being you, or whatever. Like, there can be little ways to celebrate your team that cost no money, very little amount of your time, and can make people feel really appreciated and really, you know, special on days other than their birthday or their work anniversary or whatever the case may be too.
Yep, absolutely. I'll let you lead the next topic.
This one is something that I feel very adamantly about. And I know it can be really hard, and I know it can feel very uncomfortable, but I think that it's really important. And it is to make sure that you are getting celebrated too. It can feel really like self-aggrandizing kind of to go up to somebody and be like, hey, I would like to be celebrated in September for Office Manager Appreciation Month. It exists. It's a thing. I would like you to acknowledge it, and I would like a celebration for me because everybody else in the office gets one, and I hope that you feel that I deserve one too. That can be a really hard thing to say. I completely understand that. However, I think the alternative is you sit here quietly and hope that somebody will notice that it is Office Manager Appreciation Month, and then the whole month goes by. Nobody notices that it is. Nobody takes the reins to get it scheduled. And then what? You're just mad and resentful because nobody paid attention to you, and you spend all this time and energy celebrating everybody else and nobody celebrates you. That doesn't get anyone anywhere, and that's not helping anyone out. So if you can find it within yourself to bring it up, and bring it up in a month, bring it up in April, bring it up in, you know, May, long before September, but put it on someone's radar to say, September is this, write it on the calendar in the break room, like whatever you need to do to help them remember. And maybe that feels a little less special than having somebody just know it off the top of their head, but it's going to help you get the recognition that you deserve. It's going to help you feel appreciated in the way that you clearly want to be appreciated. And then that's going to make you want to help everybody else feel appreciated. So really, it's a win-win all around. You just have to be willing to put yourself out there and say that. And I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to tell them that it's Office Manager Appreciation Month. I just want them to know that. To which I say, we need to go talk to our therapists, because this is like a common relationship problem. But I just think if you're wanting this work relationship to work out, if you want things to go well, there's going to have to be some compromises and some effort from both sides. So just give it a try, see how it feels, and make sure that you're getting the recognition and appreciation that you deserve too. Because if you don't, that resentment is going to always be there, and it's going to be really hard for you to want to celebrate everyone else. So laughing at you because I feel like you wouldn't do that. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
No, I wouldn't. I would not. And then in my head, I'm sitting there going, well, I know a lot of these staff members are in X and Y Facebook group where they're clearly seeing that people are posting it's Office Manager Appreciation Month, and yet crickets.
And but then you just get grumpy about it, right? Right.
Yes, for sure. I mean, like, I sort of, as a practice manager, like, I've long since came to the conclusion that it is a mostly thankless job. And, it's mostly you celebrating and building everyone else up with like little support. So,
but it doesn't have
it
to
doesn't
be that
have
way.
to be, people. One thing in our break room, we have this little like letterboard where, we're changing it out for different sayings. So one time I walk in and it says, now I know the hygienist put it in there, Happy National Dental Hygiene Week or whatever. It's like, well, now that is not going to be ignored. So if anyone has a letterboard around, just put it's Happy National Office Manager Month in September and see what ensues after that.
That's what I'm saying. If there's a calendar in your break room, which we always did have like a big, like, year long calendar, we were putting like people's vacations or weeks that we were closed or whatever. So on that calendar, I think you go into September and you write Office Manager Appreciation Month with some exclamation marks and see who notices. But you got to do it a little ahead of time. You can't put it on there September 10th and expect something to happen,
Yeah.
I mean, that's still enough time, let's be real. But like, be giving them a little bit advance notice. I don't know.
And I mean, like I would always put together these elaborate baskets and such for like administrative professionals day, and I never included myself. And of course the doctors are always like, be sure to get yourself something, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
So that just didn't feel right to me, nor did I don't want to say nor did I really care, but I just didn't care to include myself on the gift basket. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you only need to bring this up once to your staff. Like
hopefully.
they hopefully, I mean, you can keep writing it on the calendar every year, but like hopefully one discussion is all it takes. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I think that's kind of about it. I also think, the biggest thing that I would say about this is something that we've touched on in several episodes, which is like, if it doesn't bring you joy, if you don't enjoy it, people are going to sense that. Like, right, they're going to know, they're going to feel that it feels like you slogged to the store and slapped together this whatever. And there's probably, honestly, somebody in the office who does really enjoy doing that stuff. So put some feelers out. Find somebody who likes putting together baskets, somebody who has a Cricut, somebody who's always on Pinterest or Etsy or whatever. Like, there's probably somebody in the office who would enjoy doing it. It would take something off of your plate, and people are going to feel the like love and joy through those gifts, because that person's putting in that energy to it. So like, just reach out. If it's not bringing you joy and it's not making you happy, it doesn't have to be your thing to manage, right? So just figure out how to make it work for you in a way that, exactly like we said in the title, that doesn't suck your energy and make you lose your mind, because it doesn't have to be that way. I think some of us feel like it does, but it doesn't.
Yep. Delegate what you don't like to do.
Yep. Yes.
But all right. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.